Okay. And now we will move on to our final topic, which is Russia. We have Mr. Alvarado as the subject matter expert on that team, and Mr. Vigil as the subject matter expert for his team. So here we go. This will be our last 1-minute drill. Angel, are you ready? Okay. Here we go. What does SDI stand for?
Strategic Defense Initiative.
What was SDI?
It was an anti-ballistic missile that intercepts Soviet missiles.
This Soviet leader came to power in 1985.
Forgot. Pass.
What was Glasnost?
Open up.
What was Perestroika?
Pass.
What did MAD stand for?
Pass.
He became president in 1981.
Pass.
What did Reagan call the Soviet Union in his 1983 speech in Orlando, Florida?
Evil Empire.
Okay. What did a Russian pilot shoot down in September 1983?
A plane.
What kind of plane?
I don't know.
Okay. Define pummel.
To hit hard.
Define proxy.
Substitute.
Define refute.
Pass.
Okay, and that is it. So 6 on that. All right, so Mr. Vigil, you know what? I will let me reset the time here, and I'll start you with the question that that Angel passed on. So he became president in 1981.
Ronald Reagan.
The 1970s policy of relaxing tensions with the Soviet Union.
INF.
The Soviets thought this NATO exercise was a prelude to war in 1983.
Pass.
In 1983, the British were getting critical information about Soviet attitudes from this source.
British spy.
This 1987, okay, from what agency? What British spy?
Cato.
Okay, this 1987 treaty abolished an entire class of nuclear weapons.
IDF.
How big was the Soviet Union's economy compared to the United States?
1/4.
Reagan's policy to end the Cold War.
We win, you lose.
Gorbachev wanted Reagan to confine SDI to this.
To laboratory.
The year the Berlin Wall fell.
1989.
Define skepticism.
Pass.
Define analogy.
A claim.
Define rhetoric.
Pass.
Okay. 6 on that. And now we will go to our critical thinking exercise. So, Angel, what is this a picture of?
This is a picture of the SDI shooting
And what is it shooting down?
missiles.
From?
Soviet missiles.
Okay, and what did critics of SDI call it?
Star Wars.
Okay, very good. 4 out of 4 on that. Okay, so Matt, here is your question. Who is this?
This was the British spy that was poisoned with nuclear waste.
Who ordered his death?
Vladimir Putin. Putin.
And why?
Because this man was against Vladimir Putin's. He was against Vladimir Putin.
Okay, so that leads to our final debate topic. Are we in a new Cold War with Russia? Angel, you say yes. Matt, you say no. So, Angel, why are we in a new Cold War with Russia?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, Matt, why are we not in a new Cold War with Russia?
We're not in a new Cold War Russia because we've ended all relationships, the IDF treaty with nuclear weapons, so we end relationships. We don't have to worry about them in nuclear missiles. And they no longer have relationships with us.
Okay, now we'll have a question from the panel. So, Professor Young, why don't you ask Mr. Alvarado a question for him and his team about Russia?
Mr. Alvarado, currently the reasons that we think we might be in a new Cold War with Russia is over their recent annexation of the Crimean region from Ukraine and their support of separatists from eastern Ukraine. However, Vladimir Putin is among popularity, public opinion polls, he is probably 80% approve of what he's doing. How can this guy be so hated in the West and yet so loved back home?
All right, and Mr. Baker, your question for Mr. Vigil and his team.
Mr. Vigil and team, I'd like to know how you explain, as Professor Young mentioned, Russia's occupation of the Crimean Peninsula. If we're not in a new Cold War, how do you explain that occupation?
So why did they do it? Why did Russia, what was the reasoning behind Russia occupying parts of the Ukraine, including the Crimea? We'll give you a few minutes, and we'll get back to you. Okay, Mr. Alvarado looks prepared. So, very good question posed by Professor Young. Vladimir Putin, hated in the West, loved in Russia. How do you explain this?
Putin would kill anyone who disagrees with him, just like the spy in the picture, how they disagreed with him. And in the West, there's democracy, where you could like say what you want and not get hurt. And Russia also invaded next door neighbor, believing that land belonged to them. And the separatists became, because they are the people who are moderate-minded and are aggressive, so.
Okay, and Mr. Vigil, since you don't believe we are in a new Cold War with Russia, Mr. Baker's question specifically concerns the Ukraine. If we are not in a standoff with them, why did they invade the Ukraine?
In years past, Russia was split from the Ukraine, and now that Ukraine is they're their own country now. Since Russia is a communist state, they want to make Ukraine part of them again because they want to take back their land that they have lost.
Okay, so that concludes everything except for our last Who Am I drill. So, Angel, stand by, and Matt, stand by. So whoever I hear ring in first, I will call on, and we will be able to get your answer. So, are you ready? Here we go. Angel.
Never mind.
Matt.
Kim Il-sung?
Sent down youth.
Vladimir Putin. That is Fidel Castro, and that's Mikhail Gorbachev.
Okay, he got one right. Do you know who they are?
Cuba.
Okay. How about the guy on the right? Do you have any idea who he is?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll move on. Ready? Here's the next one.
John F. Kennedy.
Damn it.
Ronald Reagan.
Diego? Or I'm sorry, Angel.
Never mind.
No?
No.
Okay.
Mikhail Gorbachev.
Okay, now I have a what am I? So,
No, he didn't never read.
and actually here's what I'm going to do. So I've got actually I have three-dimensional hints right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to present this to you, your team. Now this goes to all of you to answer this. What is this? And how does that relate to what we've been talking about in China?
Oh,
What is that? And how does that relate to what have we been talking about in China? This is our next prop. I submit it to you, your team. What is this?
do we answer now?
And then how did it relate to our relations with Russia?
This is real?
Okay, yes, it's real. All those are real.
Western.
They did not come from the 3D printer,
No, it doesn't seem
although that's
real.
only a matter of time, I'm sure.
No, like, never mind.
Okay, so and I'll ask you questions about this. So first, whoever wants to answer over there, what is that?
This is a head statue of Buddhism because China is a Buddhism Buddha.
Okay, And then you were about to say about China, how it
because
relates?
China believes in Buddhism.
Okay, anything else to add?
No.
I just
Well,
took it all.
most of their population believes in Buddhism, but yet China is a communist state, so they shouldn't have a religion.
Smart. Doesn't look like
Okay, all right, Mr. Vigil, what is that you hold in your hand?
This is part of the Berlin Wall when it was taken down.
Okay, and here's a tricky question. Did that side face East Berlin or West Berlin?
No, east.
And how do you know it faced East Berlin?
Because East Berlin was protected by traps and security towers because the west side, they let people graffiti on the side of the wall because they were against the wall being built up.
All right, no fooling you. Okay, that concludes our debate. So now I'm going to confer with the judges. I have your score sheet here. I'm going to confer with them. We're going to tally up the total, and I will be right back. So if you want to take a break, and if you need to make a bathroom break or get some more water, go ahead. Yes, very good. And judges, you'll meet with me over in the corner, and we will compare scores. Okay, we are now ready to announce our winners. And for those that don't know who are watching on the internet, there is a $2,000 cash prize, $500 per student to the winner. Oh, it was a close one, divided by 1.5 points.
how was it half?
With a total of 142 points, Jasmine Eaton, Morgan Cross, Michael Escobar, Matt Vigil are the winner. 140.5. You are only 1.5 points short, so good job to all of you. Congratulations. All right. So that concludes our debate. I actually want to take a word to thank a few people. So thanks to our sponsors, the Merrick Foundation. Garth Merrick is here. Thank you, Mr. Merrick. Wells Fargo was another sponsor. Our judges, Dr. Young and Mr. Banker, thank you. Our camera crew, Rob Pikarski, Don Pierce, Nancy Snyder, and Darren Valdez. And also thanks to the facilities crew here at Skinner, headed by Andrew Delgado. Thanks for all your help in setting this up. So thank you for attending, everyone, and have a great night. That's it. Good night.